Broussard, this Warriors team has a number of nights like they had last night. Maybe not as bad, and we just keep saying, okay, they had it, they'll be fine. It's the Warriors. They're fine, no worries, they're fine. But I don't know, Steve Curry made a few comments there that they have a couple things that they do need to address and they do need to correct. Are you buying that the Warriors have actual flaws on this team?
Well, it's funny because, Steph, you saw that underlying smile and smirk where he's not too concerned. I don't think. That's my point. I'm not concerned. They're still the heavy favorite, my pick. There's a reason only 3 teams have three-peated in the last 52 years. Jordan's Bulls twice and Shaq Kobe Lakers. Because it's difficult. It's a mental drain to play these regular season games when you know it's all about May and June, even June for you.
And there's a reason no team's been to 5 straight finals.
Right.
Since Russell's Celtics. LeBron went to 8 straight, but he got
different teams.
So we were talking about Steph, Clay, Draymond, Iggy. I know Durant's new, but those 4 guys trying to do this for a 5th straight 100-game season.
It's a challenge. If you look at Jordan's Bulls, the 2 that three-peated, the 3rd season, their regular season record was always the worst. So it happens. That said, there are some concerns I have about this team. I think this is the most vulnerable they've been since Kevin Durant got there. And here's a few things. Boogie. Now, when you look at DeMarcus Cousins, the eye test, he's running the floor. He's sharing the ball. He's moving okay for him. It looks fine with the eye test. And when you look at the conventional numbers, 15 points, 8 rebounds, a team high in 25 minutes, you think, okay, Boogie's fitting in. You look deeper into the numbers. Defensively, when Boogie is on the floor, they are one of the worst teams in the league. Their defensive rating is like 107.7. That's mediocre. When I'm sorry, 108.6.
Which is even worse.
Right. When he's not on the floor, their defensive rating is better. Offensively, when he's not on the floor, they play at a historic level offensively. And when he's there, they're more like a mediocre team. Their net rating is 9 points better when he's off the floor.
And it goes deeper than that. So when they're all NBA lineups out there, all 5 guys that start, they are the Clay, KD, Steph, Boogie, and Draymond. They have a negative net rating. They're being outscored by their opponents when those 5 are out there. When the 4 are out there
without Boogie,
they're beating opponents by 12 points per 100 possessions. That's a problem.
Kerr is going to have to make the tough decision because you know they see it. You know they have these numbers. Look, before Boogie got there, Steph was the only weak link defensively. And teams would try to target him, get him in pick and roll, but you could protect him. Now you have 2 guys you can go at if you're an offense in Boogie and Steph, and that's made them vulnerable.
The one thing that was a calming force for me, that guy doing the interview.
Man.
Right.
I mean, I've been watching guys complain, make excuses. Man, I hate this. Man, the media, y'all did this to me. Steph Curry, bruh, he's the calming force in the NBA right now. KD is unstoppable. He is a matchup nightmare. But Steph Curry sat there like a grown man in his uniform.
The leader.
Yes. The way you want your leader to be able to talk, because ultimately he can't make excuses. And he said it in these last 16 years. We're going to have to show some people because this is new to them, too, having Boogie. Now, these guys have made all these sacrifices. Nick, you mentioned something to me last season when everyone was upset about Boogie signing with the Golden State. He's like, they can't get better offensively.
Right.
It's impossible.
Right. They had the greatest offense in NBA history last year. So, like, you at some point, you reach a point of diminishing returns. Like, your offense is not going to be more efficient. So this was the reason that the Boogie acquisition, in my eyes, was a good one for them and a no-brainer was it removed the injury component to a degree. Last year, when they went through this late-season swoon, it was because Steph was out. There was time when KD missed a little bit of time, Clay missed some. And if during a playoff series you're missing one of those guys, well, then all of a sudden feature Boogie.
Last year we sat down and talked, and we said, okay, how are they going to not three-peat?
Right.
Like, what would have to happen in the NBA? And Nick said, man, that's like an insurance policy.
And as an insurance policy, it might be a good one. But as an insurance policy that you're having to actively use when you don't actually need it yet, you're seeing the negative aspects of it. And so, like, that is because the point that was made to me that we talked about was if the offense can't get better and he's not going to help your defense, then how does he make you better? It's not like he is some calming locker room force. But this isn't. I think your point on Steph is a very important one because we didn't play it, but KD's post-game interview couldn't have been more different. KD, the media asked him about Steve Kerr said we got to play with more anger. Right. And KD's like, oh, I thought we were based on joy.
Because like, Kerr's been saying that all season.
And so, joy, right? And KD is irritable. You know what I mean?
And KD didn't play well. They were without Clay. Right. KD didn't have a good game.
Right. But the other concern for me is Boogie notwithstanding. Last year, people are going to say, okay, last year they ripped off 10 of 11, and then they went on a 3-7 stretch. But Steph wasn't there. Right. We haven't seen this team not play well with Steph on the court. They won 16 of 17. Since then, they're 3-5. And Steph's been playing. Like, the invincible part of this team for 4+ years has been, do we have Steph, do we not have Steph? They won games without Durant. I understand Clay wasn't out there last night and hurt their shooting, and it really hurt their defense. But it's odd to see them struggle when Steph's been healthy.
If there's one thing that if I was to say I would be concerned about, that's their home record. I mean, their home record is not like any other team that we've seen. Right now, I think there's 9 other teams in the league that have at least the same home record as them or a better home record than them. And they have been dominant. Oracle has been a special place. And this being the last year that they're going to play there, that would be something that I would be more concerned about, the number of losses they have at home.
The other thing with you mentioned Steph. Steph is like their Tim Duncan. I've been saying this for years. Since this run began with them. Different personalities, but Duncan set the tone in the whole organization. So when you came into the Spurs, everybody bought in because Duncan set that tone. It's the same thing with Steph. He brings that, like Kerr talks about, that joy. Steph, even though Draymond's been the inspirational leader, I guess, and all that, Steph has set the tone for that whole franchise. And Draymond is interesting, too. Because we know he's always been one of the best defenders since this run began. His defense has steadily declined since 2015, and now it's at an all-time low for him. He's still a good defender, but he's not
and he's
the
been dealing with
defensive
a bad
player.
toe injury.
Yeah, his body is starting to break down a little bit on him.
Which is a big concern for them when it comes to contract stuff. He just signed with Clutch, and I'm not saying because he wants to go play with LeBron, because I don't think that's why. I think it's because they will hold you to the fire. Money. And if he was, in my mind, I know Kawhi won a couple of the Defensive Player of the Year awards. I think Draymond had a 3-year stretch where he should have won all 3. I thought Draymond was the best defender in the league, bar none. When he is just a very good defender, then his value proposition changes enormously because his shooting's at an all-time low because of these other potential issues.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.